Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In the past we've discussed many different topics on this channel having to do with relationships, breakups, emotional challenges, and how we see ourselves, how we get to know ourselves, what do we know about our own psyche, and everything else that we've tried to be helpful and inquisitive and discussed. Today, although we have discussed about this topic before, but I think we can discuss it further and more detail, perhaps with a different twist. The question is, what is a thought? Where does it come from? Where do thoughts come from? Why are they there? What are they doing? What is this business of thinking? We have discussed it before in different ways, and we will delve into it today as well. But there are different things that we want to bring our attention to, a little deeper perhaps than the other times. Well, we know that a thought is an emotion, is a recognition of reaction, is a sentiment. We know where it comes from. We've discussed it before, such as if we go back thousands of years ago, and we discussed that when a caveman just got to come out of the cave and through some of the instinct, survival instinct that he had, he was able to do certain things. That was just about the time that he had found out he can figure out things. He has a capability of sorting things out. So let's say it comes out of the cave, and through his instinct he knows he's hungry. So he sees something round and red on a tree, and instinct tells him you gotta eat that, or something nourishing is in there. So he tries to maybe climb up and reach that particular apple, or so to speak, whatever it was. I don't know, apple goes that far or not, but let's say whatever it was. And he puts his foot on a branch, let's say, and it breaks, the branch breaks, he falls. And through that experience of falling, action of going up the branch to catch that whatever it was, falls down and then hurts his ankle, or it hurts his knee, because the knee bounces against the ground. So that whole action of trying to get that and going on top of that branch, and the branch breaking and it falls down, it creates an experience for him. That experience gives him a certain kind of a knowledge, and that knowledge is recorded in his memory, because we are a recording machine. We record things 24/7. So that recording helps him to sort things out on the basis of this past knowledge, which came from an experience, which came from an action. And through some other things that he was capable at the time, and experiences, other actions that he makes, other experiences comes about, other knowledge, and the knowledge is captured and recorded in his memory. It eventually creates a bigger and bigger consciousness, the field of the known, where things are known there. From that field of the known, where the inventory of knowledge is, man comes up with thinking, thoughts. A thought is born from that collective information in the consciousness, the memory. From that thought, because everything you think in life comes from your memory, comes from your consciousness, the field of the known. From that thought that is born from that knowledge in the consciousness, a new action results. From that action, a new experience. From that new experience, new knowledge. And that knowledge, again, is stored, recorded in the consciousness. And that's how, in a cycle, consciousness grows and expands, and we get to know things and so on. And from all that what we know, gathered in consciousness, other thoughts are born, action, experience, knowledge, and recorded, and so on and so forth. And we use all that to negotiate our daily life. So that's one explanation of what thought and thinking is. And of course, the other one that we've discussed in other videos about what is thinking is that, well, when they ask you what your name is, you don't hesitate. There's no thinking. You just say what it is. My name is Mehran. I don't have to think about it. Where you come from? Immediately. You know where you live, where you come from. In my case, Canada. That's where I am. So if I'm traveling, you say, where are you from? Canada. There are things that you don't have to think. But if they ask you, how do you go to Hawaii? Or how are you able to go to Japan if you have an aircraft of this size and this engine capacity or capability and this many passengers and then that much fuel? Then you got to calculate. Through that calculation to find the answer to the question that is posed, and there is a time lapse from the time the question is posed to the time that you figure out and calculate this complex question. There is to get the answer, there's a time lapse. That time lapse is where thinking is taking place. And when you eventually come up to the answer, then the thinking stops. Or if you eventually come to the fact that I can't figure it out, I don't know. I don't know the answer of what the question is posed. Or you search for it and you say, I don't know. Then you announce it, I don't know. Or right off the bat, you know it's not your expertise, and you say, I don't know. So when you say I don't know, the mind stops. There's no mandate. The thought process stops because it is commanded and understood and accepted, convinced that you don't know. So it's futile to keep calculating. So that's how it stops. And of course, through meditation, you can bring the movement and the action of thinking to a minimal amount, which is when mind rests and so on. And these are ways to stop thought, which of course when you stop thought, you stop time, because movement of thought is time. Time is thought. Thought is time. When you think about something in the past in your memory, you're no longer here. You're there. You created time. Or if you think about yesterday, I had a pain in my stomach. Now I don't. I wonder if I will have again. Then you created time. So a thought created time. So we know all these things. We've discussed about these things in different videos before. So what we want to do is to understand, why do we have this capability of thinking? What is it for? So let's think about that for a second. I'll have a sip of my tea and we'll continue. Now, I see something on my camera that is counting down from 12, 10 now, down. I want to see what happens. If it stops, so should I have to start again or not? Just give me a second. We'll see.